Good evening and welcome everybody on this special meeting where we are going to question Satadal Lahiri about what he has been doing for the past more than 1 month. And there are great revelations and great plans ahead unfolded right here, right now. So welcome everybody. Welcome Satadal Lahiri, Sanjeev Sareen, SD Kar, Lagnajita Chatterjee, Dr. Lavanya, Deepthi Agarwal, Subhash Sharma, Rupal Mohta, Nupur Dingra, Nirja Bandi. Welcome everybody. So we will begin with all of you one by one. Share your reflections, share your views. You've been a part of all this that has been in the past month or so. So raise your hands and speak in that order. So there's a reaction button here. Please click raise hand and speak in that order. Raise your hands, please. Yeah, Nirja Bandi, please.
There was nobody who took the initiative, so I thought I'll better start. Book fairs, especially those in Kolkata, turning. I had good number of sales as well. I'm happy with whatever sales have been done there. Not only me, all the authors had good number of books sold. 477 in almost a month's time is not a small number. So I think we all should thank SL for the tremendous hard work that he had put in and the achievement, selfless achievement that he has gained for on behalf of all of us. So thanks a lot, SL, on behalf of everybody who has participated in the book fairs. So I don't think anybody would be able to achieve so much in the book fairs as we have done. Not even the big publishing houses that actually organize these book fairs. So that's one good point. And then not only the book fairs, we already have everything in place even after the book fairs, like the ones in the display in IIT Kharagpur also. So visibility definitely is a very good point for us. And of course, the national libraries and the British libraries as well. So many books have been placed through the book fairs in these libraries of many authors. So that's also a good reflection from these book fairs. So again, a very big thank you to SL for achieving this on behalf of all of us. Yeah, there will always be learnings from anything that we do for the first time. So there is always going to be improvement in whatever steps we are going to take ahead. So that's it for me. Again, a big thank you on behalf of everybody.
Where is the question?
Thank you, Nirja.
I don't have any questions. I was just pointing out about the reflections and learnings that we had through these.
Yeah, I was waiting for the question.
Yeah, okay. One question, as you just reminded me about the question. You did not allow me to fill the form. Why not try for the other books as well? Because only one is placed in British Library. Why don't I try for the other books by sending them?
For your other books, there'll be a separate form because you'll get a number. The day when I go to the British Library, I'll get the numbers of Vikram Khaitan and the other people, and of course Nirja Bandi and everybody whose books are already placed over there. So okay, you have to talk in reference to that number. So you'll get some brownie points now because your book, one of your books is already there. So I'll get those numbers and I'll have to physically go there to get your numbers. And probably you'll have to give me an authorization letter to represent you. So that I'll come to know tomorrow. So if required, you can send me an authorization letter. Just write a letter, haath se, and just sign it and click a picture and send it to me so that I can.
What would be the matter in the authorization letter? Authorizing.
I am representing you. That's it.
Okay, sure. I'll do that.
So if it is required, then we'll do that. If it is not required, then why to do that? Tomorrow I'll come to know about it.
Oh,
So I'll
sure.
get your numbers. That is the numbers, since your book is over there, that is called the elite members number. So you all have an elite member number that I don't know because I'm not authorized to know, but I'll try to get it tomorrow or day after, whenever. And if authorization is required.
Okay, got it.
So whoever wishes to speak, please raise hands. And next, Rupal Mota. Yeah, please begin, ma'am. Unmute yourself and begin.
Good evening, everyone. Always a pleasure to see all of you. From my side, I think one big reflection is that this whole past 1 month has been a season of first. There's been the first time my books have ever been on a book fair. It's the first time they're included into the National Library. It's the first time they've had a larger representation. And big thank you to SL Sir for this, and to all the other authors who've really been associated with all the fairs in Kolkata and in the upper northern districts, and who are continuing to represent us. I think this is just the beginning, as you all say. So from my side, it's a big, big thank you, because sitting here for us and for our books to reach little readers, because I am a children's author, is something great. So I think there comes a big thank you. And one question that I have is that now that the books are included in the library, how exactly does that benefit us in terms of our sales? And how exactly does it help us in broadening the readership? So that is one thing which I wanted to understand.
First of all, what the library does is, once they have taken the specimen of the book, they catalog it. Every library has got their catalogs, of new books, upcoming books, famous books, and then all-time blockbusters, all sorts of catalogs they have. And generally what happens, the bookstore, there's some sound in the background.
Can I mute myself?
The bookstores, what they do is they go to the libraries and they look for, the new books. So if it is catalogued in the National Library, they believe else goes and says, this book is very good. They'll not believe us. The bookstores, they believe in the libraries, they believe in the institutions. So they'll go and see the catalogs, they'll find these new books, they have been placed in the catalog. Now these bookstores, they are going to buy in bulk, not the library. Libraries will only tell them that these are the books that we have recommended. We recommend. Then they will go and buy those books, say in hundreds or 200s or whatever. So that impacts the sale. And secondly, what you said about the readership, the base of the readership increases with the libraries. What happens, National Library or any big library for that matter, National of course is the biggest library, they are connected to several small libraries. In Kolkata, we have, small, big, medium, around 35 to 40 libraries. And might be some libraries that I don't know of, that are not listed. So they all are dependent on the National Library to give them new fodder, new books, so they can give their, readers, some people, they might be coming, asking for new children's books. So there, your book will be referred to. And that gets a very wide audience, because libraries, of course, they have got wide audiences. And that way it will impact the, readership base. And also the name will be known by the reader. So whenever your next book comes in Amazon or wherever, they'll immediately try to connect, okay, this reader I have read. So that kind of this thing comes. I'll talk later in the program, I'll talk about the other business aspect of this. But this is to answer your question regarding the libraries. So this will start, it will take some time, of course, 2-3 months maybe, but this will start happening, and you'll also start getting mails from various quarters. Maybe some member of the library. If you have your mail ID in your book, they'll follow that and they'll send you mails saying that I like this book, what are your other books, or what are you writing on, something like that for engagement. So that also gives a kind of, Spandan has already, Spandan here, Spandan has already received a mail from Brazil. Somebody from Brazil has written to him that, one of my relatives collected one of your books from book fair and sent it to me, and I've read it, and liked it, I'd like to connect with you. So that kind of a
Oh,
thing
that's great.
will
That's
start
great.
happening. So let's
Okay.
hope that this happens as fast as possible.
Fingers crossed.
So as Satadal
Thank you,
said
sir.
that,
Thank you.
as Satadal said that he will reveal the future plans ahead, after we have all asked him our questions and expressed our views. So I request everybody who has just joined in to please open up your camera so that it becomes interactive for everybody, and mute your mics till you get the turn to speak. And those who wish to speak, please raise your hand so you speak in that order. Next in order is Mr. Sareen. Mr. Sareen, please unmute and speak.
Yeah, namaskar. First of all, my great thanks to Satadal ji. It's a great initiative. He's taking all the pain not for himself. He's taking pain for all the authors, and for that, me in person, I feel highly excited and satisfied from the outcome of all the various sales which he conducted so well at the Satadal Library. I don't have any questions. It is just a small query. Like this National Library, my book was selected. Is there anything to be done, or now it is in the process as and when things will happen, like he has explained? So the second is that on the British Council sent the details on mail as he had asked earlier, but not filled up any Google form. And I've got the response also from them that it is in the process. They are reviewing it and they'll let me know in a week time whether anything to be done. Do I need to fill the form or that's all? So these are just two small queries.
First of all, I'll go to your second query. The people who have filled the form earlier and people who had got their books rated by some critic, they don't need to fill up the form again. Am I audible?
Yes, I can.
So you don't need to fill the form again, people who have been rated or people who have filled the form previously. Secondly is people whoever have got the response from Suryansh. Now this Suryansh is an associate editor in BCCL. Is BPC is there. He is from Shillong. Suryansh is from Shillong BPC. He is from Upper Lakshmi. So sometime or the other I'll make him talk to you in their own language. So
fine.
So this what he'll do, Sarinji, is he'll scan through the books and he'll propose to the coterie that these are the few books picked up from the fair or from the various programs that we are having that we propose to the British libraries. And British Library, it is a process. What happens? British Library will give it to some critic to make a rating. Now, if the rating is above 5 upon 10, your book automatically goes into British libraries. Now, let me, people who don't know, let me inform them that I've sent several books to the British libraries, just randomly asking people, whatever I liked, whenever I read something, I liked it, I asked for the books. One of the books, very strikingly, it is from AFH, and it defeated all the other books that went to the British libraries through a critic. And that was that of Vikram Khaitan's Seeds of Advice that clocked 9.4 upon 10, which is an ajuba in itself. So if you get something above 5, of course, all of your books are above 5. So you will automatically go into the British this thing. But what will happen, the process will take some time because once he sort of shortlists the book, he'll give it to some critic. That critic will take the time to read. The time required is for the reading of the critic. And these critics are old people. They're old, generally old people who don't understand how to open an e-book. They'll read in the paperback format. And they will, aapka book ka massacre karenge. They will do underlining, highlighting, and all sorts of things, and give a mark on the book itself. They'll write and sign and stamp on the book itself. And your book qualifies for British libraries. And
Sir,
I have... Yes, sir.
My question was that do I need to fill the, although I received the response from them that my book
no,
is
if you have received the response, you don't need to fill the form.
Okay.
And secondly, regarding National Library, your question was like, do you need to do anything from your side? So you don't need to do anything from your side because why they have taken your book is for the cataloging part. Once the cataloging is done, that catalog will go to various bookstores.
Okay.
Bigger bookstores, of course, like Crosswords, like Oxford, like The Word, like Pelican. They'll go to the bigger bookstores. From the bigger bookstore, it's a chain. From the bigger bookstore, it will go to the smaller bookstores. From the smaller bookstore, it will go to the footpath wala bookstore. So it's a chain.
Okay.
So everybody will see every bigger bookstore. If you buy, say, 200, the smaller bookstore will buy 50 or maybe 150. The footpath wala will buy, maybe 50 or 70, like that. The chain happens. So we have to give the cycle a push. Once we give the push, it will have its own momentum.
Got it. Thank you very much.
So whoever wishes to speak or ask a question, please raise hand. And next in order is SD Kar. SD Kar, please unmute and speak.
Dada, you have all permission from my side. Only don't take my properties in your name. So jokes apart, Dada, although that is futurist thing, but there is a huge market of vernacular market there. So between us, we have lot of authors. So we can translate, like Vikram Sad had given me his seeds of advice to translate it in Oriya. I couldn't do it, that is a different thing. But maybe within our author fraternity, we can translate books, like somebody from Kerala can translate your book Badh in Malayalam. You can translate some book in Bengali, so that we can cater to the vernacular market also. Because I had gone there and I've seen that Bengali books are like selling like anything. In Kerala itself, I don't know, Deepakji is not there, but it must be there that Malayalam books are sold a little bit higher in numbers. So within our fraternity, can we do one thing? Can we translate our books in other vernacular languages, so that we get
actually SD, I remember BPC also might remember that we had a discussion that our next in our next book fair, the USP of our this thing will be to offer vernacular books.
Correct.
Now let me assure you that this process has already started. It has started, of course, with one of the books of Spandan Ganguly being translated into Bengali, and we have the privilege of having within that WhatsApp group one lady called Papia Ghosh, who does wonderful translation in Bengali. In fact, next step mine would be to ask for the translation of the book of Rupal Mohta in Bengali, alongside your book as well as Vikram Khaitan's book. So what we will have next time is we'll have a section for vernacular books, and if it is in Bengali, being in Kolkata, it will be of high demand, and slowly we can migrate to other languages also. So that is one of my thing. I was looking for somebody who will be a very good translator, who will, as you will appreciate, to translate a book, you need to get into the book.
Correct.
We saw what happens
it is not literal translation like I did for the first chapter of advice.
Once you go to Google Translation, it is literal translation. The meaning gets all ulta pulta. So we have to have somebody who has got a passion of writing, who can get into your subject matter, think like you, and translate them. So that Papia ma'am can do, and she has very graciously accepted Spandan Ganguly's book for this thing. I mean, for the first example, like how it looks like. And of course, the charges are very low. You talk to somebody whose charges are pretty high. So, and so if you go to Fiverr or somewhere, the charges will be like that. But if we get to somebody that we know, and somebody, if we have the confidence, I think that person will do justice. And that's what I'm trying to do. In fact, giving all the books to Papia ma'am will be putting a lot of pressure to her. So I'm looking for a few other translators also. There is another person called Gautam Bhattacharya. BPC has met him. and I think you have also met him.
Yeah, yeah.
He
Yes,
also
yes.
does some translation.
The older gentleman.
Yeah, he had translated Rod McQueen's poems, so he can do good English to Bengali translation. So I feel that he can also be taken into the team of translators. And there is another lady whom I am talking to called Prarthana Sen. She was, the sitting chairman of Times of India Eastern Region, of course, retired now.
Okay.
And she is working on some UNESCO project. She had also come to our stall. So I spoke to her. She said that, okay, time permits, I am ready to do that. So I think the first book that I'll offer her is Vikram Khaitan's book, Seeds of Advice. And I know that she is somebody, to be reckoned with in Calcutta. So in Bengali, of course. So that way I'm planning things out. Of course, if you also get across somebody who can translate things in a proper economic way, we can always get them also in our folds.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you, SDKar. Whoever wishes to speak next, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. We can proceed in that order. Any questions? Click the raise hand in reactions, please.
Subhash Sharma ji has got a question.
Hello.
Yeah, we have 1 minute, Mr. Sharma. We have Sucheta with raised hand. Mr. Sharma, please click the raise hand in reaction so that we speak next. Sucheta, please unmute and speak.
Thank you, Vikram. Since the topic was going on regarding translation, and Satadal told that it has to be economical, everybody agrees to that economy aspect of it. So I just wanted to know, since I'm novice in this field, I wanted to know what is the cost of translating around 100 or 100 pages, sort of. Okay. So in any language.
Ma'am, can I answer that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please,
sure.
please.
Yeah, question is to you only. Yeah.
Okay.
So you are cornered and questioned.
Okay.
Mute.
Can't
You're
hear.
in mute. You're in mute.
Mute.
Okay.
Unmute.
Okay. So I had talked to one person in a professional agency in Kolkata. He was with me in a different organization altogether. He has started his own organization. So he said he gave me a sample copy of one page, and which was quite okay. But when the money part came, he charged. He's quoted that 1 rupee per word. So if you have 50,000 words, the charges will be 50,000 rupees. So that is, a huge amount of money. I don't know how many of you can afford that kind of money to translate a book, but I can't. So I said no.
Now the general
Whether
rate,
50,000.
I have a suggestion on this. Please hear me carefully. See, most of us are proficient in more than one language, right? Most of us are proficient in more than one language besides English. So we can start with our own book. You can go to a Google translator and translate it, and then you can edit it a bit, because you are the author, you are into the spirit of your whatever you have written. So if you begin with that, you will first of all discover the potential within yourself, whether you can translate a book. And if you could, it helps you directly because you got your book in one more language instantly. And later on, if you have done it for your book, you can offer your services to the others as well. And once you've done it, you know what goes into it, so what you should be charging. I think that's a good way to begin on this, rather than just start looking out for somebody and, somebody may be available right away or may not be available for a while. This is how we can start. What do you say, Satadal, about it?
yeah, that is an excellent way to start, in fact. And of course, as Vikramji said, you can find out the potential within you. And of course, people have got that potential. I am very confident about it. Subhash Sharma ji writes both in English and Hindi. So, and even Sanjeev Sarin sir does that. So, Hindi में translate करना बहुत बड़ी बात उनके लिए तो नहीं हो. They can start, and Subhash Sharma has done that. In one of his books, he has translated the book into English, the Hindi portion into English. So that can be always tried upon. Of course, the time factor is also an issue. So that you'll have to handle. If you can do it this way, nothing better than that. That's what I understand.
That's an excellent suggestion, because the third person translating the book, okay, like I'm Maharashtrian, so I can do it in Marathi. So third person translating might not be able to get to the soul of the book. So if we put it on the Google Translate and translate it, so it will be done roughly. So we can just have to do the adjustment. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And then once you've done it for your book, we can come to you for Marathi translation of our books.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Sucheta. Thank you. Next in queue is Vikaspal Chaudhary. Those who have joined in just now, I request you to please keep your cameras on and your mics on mute. And please raise hand if you wish to speak or ask a question. If you keep your cameras on, it will be more interactive. We can see each other. So next is Vikaspal Chaudhary. Please come up with your suggestions and questions.
Good evening to all of you. I am out of station. Somehow I could connect with you. So I don't have any burning desire to ask any question. Rather than I have joined here to know the way ahead, because after the Kolkata, film fests and all those things, it was so far so good. And we are now down south in Kochi. So what is next? That is a person like me is very curious to know. So the way ahead, the futuristic thing, what the think tank is all thinking about, that's the matter. I wanted to know that, and I put myself off.
Answering your question, like now the temperature has become too harsh for outdoor fairs. I don't know, people are saying that first week of May, they are going to have this Delhi book fair. How they'll manage, I don't know. In fact, when I was in Darjeeling, then also the temperature was not very smooth. It was, okay, in some areas it was cold, but, places that is a little bit far away from Darjeeling, more towards Siliguri, it was warm. So I don't know how New Delhi is going to handle the warmth, the heat, and have the book fair. So we plan not to have any more outdoor book fair this season. We are going to go indoors. So we have got round about 30-40 invites, 40 probably invites from various areas to have an exhibition in their halls. We already had one in Ircon Towers. Our next target is ICCR and Uniworld, and we don't know the dates as of yet because the participants have to give us the date when they will be available. And the
yes, Satadal, you are doing some work with all the universities, Kharagpur, IIT, and other things. How long it will take for, and what's it all about, and how much time it will take in this thing?
Sir, as far as IIT, XLRI and all is concerned, I have not yet given them a time, because every now and then they ask for a time, because I have to know like who all will be participating, who all will be there present. Because as you know, these are organizations where we have to show the best face that we can. So once we place our books, we should have more than one speaker rather than me talking all the time. So at least 4 or 5 people from Kolkata or people whom we can gather should be there to make it a fruitful event. So hopefully by end of April, we can have IIT Kharagpur, and maybe May first week we can have Jamshedpur and XLRI all put together. So that is the planning. JD Singh, he could not attend this meeting today, but he has gathered some 6-7 colleges and schools over there, and he's very well connected in Jamshedpur. So that will be a week-long or maybe 10-day-long program. So that can happen in May only. And we will club up XLRI. In fact, just before the meeting, I was talking to Vikramji that because XLRI has got a very big auditorium called Michael Jones Auditorium, which can house a lot of people. So why can't we club XLRI with some other institutions as well and use that auditorium? The possibility we were talking about, and of course,
Understood.
probably in the
Understood.
second
This
week, I'll be going
standalone
to-
things will keep on going round the clock. I mean, as
Yeah,
and
yeah.
when these things will come, and you will keep us aware about those things. These are all the processes.
Because if people say, okay, you come and have an exhibition with us, we cannot say no. We are too new to say no, to show that arrogance. So we have to say, okay, fine, but date, we'll decide and tell.
Yeah,
That kind of response I'm giving. And a lot of people, in fact, BPC, you'll be remembering that one police officer had come and that story about that police officer, he called me at the night. Now this fellow is pestering me to have a small, exhibition in his police colony. Okay, so going to the police colony is a fearful thing, but we cannot say no to him. So probably that will also be an event sometimes later on in April. So he says that there's a lot of readers and I'll get you more readers. तो मैं उनको पूछा कि अरे जो इसमें लॉकअप में होता है उनको निकाल के लाओगे क्या पढ़ने के लिए हमारा बुक? So he said, no, we have got our families read, our children read, but we are not getting the time to buy them books, good books, quality books. So this will help them. So this is another event that is going to come up later on in April probably. So let's hope for the best. Let's see how the police buy the book.
Sir, Satadal will just kindly arrange to release the stock level so that because some books are sold out. So
yeah,
that we are in
so
a position to send out the time.
I'll do that in a couple of days' time because some books are in transit. Some people have sent their books when they were sold out. They had sent their books that have not yet reached me for ICCR and other events. So probably in 2 days' time or maximum 3 days' time, they'll reach me. Once they reach me, then I'll not ask for any books for some time and I'll update the stocks. So everybody comes to know how much books I have got with me or how much they have to send, if at all. So that will be clarified once these books come along. And as I was talking to Lavanya madam yesterday, for these indoor fairs, what happens in this outdoor fairs, you cannot push people to buy from the QR code. It becomes difficult. BPC has seen people rush in, and when there are a lot of people, you cannot just go about and asking people. But in the indoor fairs, indoor exhibition, you can ask people to scan the QR code. So that is also a possibility that we will try to push as many as ebooks as possible, because ebooks are cheaper and ebooks nowadays everybody know about. So we will try that possibility also. We tried in Ircon Tower. Okay, in Ircon Tower, that was the first indoor exhibition. So people were not prepared. Like Spandan was running helter skelter and all those things. Devi Prasad ji knows. It was a little bit confusing in the beginning. So we could not push the QR codes like we should have. But in the next couple of programs, we'll try to do that. So a lot of ebooks are going to get sold that way.
Okay, whoever wants to ask one more question can raise your hand again, no restrictions. Let's move in the order, but we have Reena Shukri waiting at the airport. So if Dr. Lavanya and Mr. Sharma, if you permit, can we make her jump the queue? Because she may check in any time. And yeah, Reena Shukri, you can please unmute and ask your question.
Yeah. So about this form, I actually am not very updated with what's going on the group. But Satadal ji, have I to send you the form? And should I send you the books also? And is this discussion about the book and the stocks and all, is it being talked about the earlier fair, or is it being talked about some current scenario which I have missed? So what should I do now? I'm just confused because I've sent some books to Deepak, but I don't know what is happening with Satadal ji and how I can get involved and give my books to him. So, yeah.
So let me tell you, I don't know how much time you have before check-in. So
yeah.
This requires...
No, I have time, but I have to... I have some time, so I don't mind. 15-20 minutes I have, but I'm to finish.
I'll not take 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
First of all, this episode started, say, last year. Now, what
Okay.
happened is that I started taking whatever books I liked from our author group, from AFH group, whatever books I liked, I asked people to, send me one specified copy to give to some critic. I know some critics in Kolkata who are associated with various libraries. Let us see what kind of ratings they give. And fortunately, they started giving good ratings.
Okay.
Like Vikramji, of course, 9.4. Even I don't know how much
Yes.
Nidya Bandi clock, she also got good marks. And SD Kar, they all got good marks, and those books were placed in the library, a British library. So that was the start. Then we thought, why not? Why not? We as a community, we start some fair or some exhibition or some visibility, physical visibility. So we started with, there was Corona and there was uncertainty, but somehow we managed to get ourselves into the Newtown Book Fair. Newtown, which is the satellite town of Kolkata. So there we were a debutant stall, and we got 25, 30 authors together who sent their books to me, and then we could clock some 100 odd books, 100 odd sales we could get within 7 days. And we got the award of the best debutant stall.
Wow.
So now
Yes.
what happens, the encouragement comes and the aspirations grow. So we thought, why not take part in Kolkata Book Fair? Now, Kolkata Book Fair is a 45-year-old book fair, a very famous book fair. Everybody around the world knows about it. But it's very difficult to go through as a debutant stall. So we had to get together with somebody to get a stall. So we got together with a publisher from Kolkata, and we set up the stall over there. And then we got some sales. And then there was this festival called Utsav happening in Newtown. There, since we had won the award in the previous book fair, Newtown Book Fair, the mayor of that place, he said, now the mayor is saying, he said that, why don't you have a bookstall over here? If the mayor is saying, I cannot say no. So I consulted Vikramji, who is like a mentor to me first. So I said, what to do? These are clashing. So Vikramji said that if you can manage, go ahead.
Mentor to everyone.
So I said, let's try. So we went ahead. That fair was for everything. Clothes are being sold, footwears were being sold, ice cream was being sold, and very few bookstores, 3 bookstores probably. And there was a bookstore which was selling books for 99 bucks. But still, in Utsav, we could sell books because we had some USP. We could stand out as Amazon. We are having Amazon bestsellers. We are Indians. Things like that. We strategized things, and we could woo people, and people knew us. People knew us that, okay, these guys were there in Newtown Book Fair as well. So a few books got sold, and then Kolkata Book Fair also, we got a good recognition. We could have had more sales, but we got recognition because we felicitated people in our stall. Very few stalls did that. And a lot of books went from our bookstall to the National Library. Now, British Library and National Library are 2 very big libraries in Kolkata. What happens is, from these libraries, the books go to various other libraries. In 1911, the capital of India changed from 1911 to 1970. Anyway, history mein Vikramji can help. 1911 hua tha ki 17 hua tha? The capital of India changed from Calcutta to Delhi.
But sometime that, but not exactly. I would not know the date.
So, अरे आप उस समय born हुए थे sir.
Interesting.
So that what happened? The system remained. From Kolkata libraries, it goes to all the libraries in India. Bombay.
Yeah, Dr. Ravindra's day says that, yeah, it was 1911. Yeah.
1911. Okay, 1911. That Calcutta, the capital shifted from the date we both.
Yeah, 12th of December to be precise. You got a professor, so he can't be wrong.
So you have the birthday of Vikram Khaitan over here. So what happened is that was the time when the capital shifted from Kolkata to Delhi, but the system remained. From Kolkata libraries, book is to go to various libraries. In British Council also, once the book is selected and a critic rates your book well, above 5, then your book not only goes into the catalogs of and the easels of BCCL Camac Street. It also, the catalog goes to all the British libraries world over, not only in India, world over.
Wow,
So,
that's nice. Yeah.
so then you start getting responses from various places. The critics, you know, they get aligned with you. They wait for your book. Like the critics now are waiting for Vikram Khaitan's next book, which is refusing to write.
Oh.
So SD Cut's next book, Dr. Lavanya's next book. So people are waiting for your next books. So this imprint has happened in Kolkata. And let me tell you that there is a place called College Street. People who know Kolkata know College Street. It's a small sort of, you can say the population of New Zealand is much less than that of College Street. So College Street may 80% of the people are earning their livelihood by publishing, selling their books from generations. From generations, we have to get into that bandwagon. Once we get into that bandwagon, our names will be there everywhere. Let me assure you that. That is our effort for putting pressure into various sections of Kolkata literary circles to have our names recognized. So, and that will, of course, take some time, but I'm hell-bent on doing
strategy.
That.
Yes. Wow, I'm very happy.
So now what I request you, I'll come back to your question. I'll request you is that you fill up the form first. Don't send any of your books right now. Just you put a description of your book or books and a description about the author and a link to your Amazon page. Amazon authors page.
Yes.
So once you do that, they are very tech savvy. They'll go over there, they'll read it. Now, if they decide on a critic, XYZ, any critic, they'll say that this critic has been assigned to read your book. That time you might have to send one complimentary copy to that particular critic to read and rate your book. And once your book gets rated above 5, it goes automatically into the library.
Perfect. So this form, should I send you by email?
Yeah, you fill it up, and there is an email ID which I had sent in the group. I'll send it once again if required. Suryan's, the fellow's name is Suryan's Panam. He's from Northeast. He is from Shillong, where BTC is there. So that fellow, I have given his personal email ID. He is an associate editor of BCCL Kolkata. So he will select those books and send it to the coterie people, the jury, who decide upon the new books. And if he sends it, they will automatically agree upon it. Only thing is that we'll have to see which critic they choose, because we'll have to push the critic. Jaldi karo, that we have to do. So you fill up the form, either send it to Suryan in the email ID I have sent, or I'll send that once again, or you can send it to me also, not an issue.
Okay, I'll send it to you. I think I'll send it to you. You can do it, I think. Yeah.
So one small doubt here. We got a revert back from him saying that within a week I shall get back to you. So is there anything in the meantime we need to do, or he's going to get back and then assign the book to a critic?
Now what is happening, why he has written that, because after coming from Darjeeling, I started calling him. Boss, what is happening? So much time has gone. What is happening? Then he said that we are reading it. And I said, why don't you respond? He said, okay. I think he has sent the same response to everyone, because they are going, he's reading the books first. He has to be sure that whatever he's projecting has to be good. Once he's read through the book, he'll project, and then that time he'll again send a mail saying that your book has been this thing. I think Suresh Gobin's book got selected. Maybe on Monday or Tuesday he'll get a mail.
Should I send him directly? You think, should I send him directly?
Yeah, no problem.
Would that be better? Which one?
Problem.
I'm okay. Because you're having so much responsibility. First preference was you, but now I'm thinking I should send it directly. So
no problem at all. Directly also you can send, and I'll follow him because he stays very near to my house.
I can CC you. If I mail him, I can CC you, or
I can CC me, so that I can start pushing him.
Yes. And form I will send you, but I will mail him, or the form I have to send him.
Yeah, you have to send the form filled up with the details of your book, a brief about your book, brief about yourself, the Amazon page.
I got that, sir.
There is a column saying that, is your book rated? So put there no, so that he can find out a critic himself instead of you going for a critic. So that will be easier to do. So let him
Okay.
find out a proper critic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Satadalji, for the update.
Thank you, Satadalji. You're doing a very good job for all of us.
Thank you, madam, and have a wonderful flight.
Thank you. I'll take your leave, but I need to catch up on all this. So I'll have to listen to the recording. Okay.
Sure,
Thank
Vikramji
you.
will
Thank
be
you.
posting the
Thank
recording.
you.
Also.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
So
Bye.
those who join later, please keep your videos on and mics on mute and raise hand if you wish to ask or speak. We'll be speaking in that order. And as you all heard that even though the country's political capital has changed from Kolkata to Delhi, the literary capital still remains in Kolkata. And the National Library of Kolkata and the British Council Library of Kolkata are the ones who are sending your books listing to all other libraries in India and around the world. So you have taken a brilliant step ahead already, and just stay connected for all the next events. And next in queue to speak is Mr. Subhash Sharma. Please unmute and speak.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Satadal Lahiri, Vikram Ketan, and all the other supporting teams. Actually, thanks is a small word. Satadal, I salute you. Big salute to you for your effortless, service to the authors fraternity. It is really remarkable. Now, coming to the questions, I want to know, because I don't know any critic, how to know about the critic and how to contact him and how to get my book evaluated. That is first thing. Second thing is how to know about the future book fairs. There are only two queries.
Sir, I'll take your second question first. The future programs, I'll be, as soon as we get the dates, like now we are not having any outdoor fairs because the temperature is very harsh. Having outdoor fairs will not get any audience, will not get anybody visiting the fairs. But we'll have indoor fairs. We have got enough invitations. And whenever we are going for a fair, I'll put it in the group that this is the exhibition that we are going to. And this is the duration of the exhibition. And this is the place where the exhibition is being held. And I'll send the photographs also, like we did for the Ircon Tower. Our next program probably dates are not fixed, probably will be UniWorld or ICCR. It depends on the availability of the chief guest. And I'll keep it posted in the group, like where we are going and how the place is, what the place is all about, and how much response we are going to get. And then, of course, we'll send the photographs of and the sales, what we generate from there. So that way we will go ahead. And there are many programs actually, but since the dates are not fixed, we are not putting it in a tabular form. So we also have to know like about the people in Kolkata when they'll be free. Like Devi Prasad ji, most of the time he flies out of Kolkata. So we'll have to get a particular date for him, because before I answer your next question, I'd like people to give a round of applause for Devi Prasad ji's daughter. She is in standard 6 and she has done wonderful paintings. And people were very enamored by the kind of painting she has done. In the Ircon Tower and in the Utsav also, people were they were not believing that it was done by such a small girl. They were thinking that Devi Prasad himself might have done it. But such mature artist, I can tell you that she, of course, will grow leaps and bounds.
Sir, can you raise your volume?
Oh, I have to.
Slightly.
It's clear. It's audible.
Okay.
And now is it audible, sir?
Yeah.
So your first
Yes,
question.
yes.
What was your first question, sir?
How to know about a critic and how to get my book evaluated?
Sir, first of all, you have that form which is supposed to be filled up. There is a column which says like, have you evaluated it by some critic, yes or no? So
Okay.
if you put no, if you tick on no, they themselves will search for a critic from their fraternity and assign your book. Somebody who reads your kind of book, they will give it to that person who will, take the physical book. If I don't have the stock, I'll ask for one book from you to be sent directly to that person. And he will read the book, line by line, word by word, paragraph by paragraph, underline it and highlight and do all sort of things with the book, and finally give you a marking.
Okay.
And if that marking is above 5 upon 10, there are various points based on which they do the marking: the flow, the language, the captivity, the resonance with the topic, and all those things. The cover, of course. And once you get something above 5, it automatically goes into the library. So the critics, they will find out for you. If you say no, that you don't, you did not have it rated by a critic. If you say yes, then they'll ask for the rating certificate. There's a certificate that this thing critics
Okay.
give. So that certificate they'll ask for. If you say no, then they'll search for a critic and propose to you that this is a critic to read your kind of genre. So please go ahead and contact this critic. This is his email ID. This is this whatever, and you contact, talk to him. You can send it. Generally, these people don't read e-books, so they'll ask for a paperback. So you have to send a paperback to him or her, and the person will go through that. Don't worry about the critics. These people will suggest you the right critic.
Okay. Now, not taking much of time, 2 more points very shortly. First thing, you have been sick and handling all these things. I want to know, how are you now? How is your health?
Actually, during the Utsav, like I had this problem, like I was feeling heavy in the head and all that. थोड़ा बहुत चक्कर भी आ रहे थे. So thankfully I was not pregnant. So I did my scan and MRI and all those things. There was some spots there, and then I have changed my lifestyle a bit. So थोड़ा खाना पे control किया and all those things, and things are much better. That heaviness in the head has lightened a lot, and now I'm a little bit better than what I used to be. Though now it's very hot, and so I'm much better with all your prayers and blessings and everything. Thank you for that.
Okay.
So we can take just 1 or 2 more speakers. Whoever wants to speak, please raise your hand. Yeah, Mr. Sharma.
Just one sentence I want to tell you. I want to share with the group that I have a command over English and Hindi. So if there anybody wants a translation from Hindi to English or English to Hindi, I am available. I have experimented with my own book. I wrote a storybook in English. Then I translated it into Hindi, and I presented my book for 10 people to comment. And they always say that this is fantastically written as far as language is concerned, stories are concerned. So I am available for Hindi to English or English to Hindi translation. That's all from my side.
Thank you. Thank you. So whoever wishes to get a Hindi translation from English or English translation from Hindi can contact Subhash Sharma, please. Next in queue, Dr. Lavanya. Dr. Lavanya, please unmute and speak. Please unmute.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Very much.
Yeah. So the thing is, should we start making audiobooks from our books just to gain an edge over the rest of the market? Because you know what? I mean, how will it work in India if we, in our group, start making audiobooks out of our books? What is the potential? And to subsidize costs of production, what do we do? Audiobooks. Is the time right for audiobooks?
Vikramji, will you take this question?
You see, on Amazon, there is a provision for converting your book into audiobook on the KDP platform itself. And it is better to go for a revenue sharing model rather than hiring a translator. A translator would cost you in the range of around $200 for a 200 pages book. So that may sound a bit like a bit of an investment to begin with. Yeah. So you can take a revenue sharing model, but before you do that, please see whether your book is otherwise selling. Because if it is selling in the ebook format and the paperback format, means the content is being loved by the readers, and that should give you the indication whether you should go on ahead with the audiobook. Until you are selling your book in the other formats, you can just hang on and wait and maybe bring out a second edition of your book. You know, in KDP platform, you can always bring out a second edition of your book. So I have done that for my, I'm doing that for one of my books. And as Satadal jokingly said that I refuse to write my next book, not that I refuse to. I was writing another book. I am writing another book, with reference to the Bhagavad Gita. I'm a great exponent of Bhagavad Gita. I somehow resonate with those philosophies which were, so old in date, but so relevant in the contemporary world. Because any other non-fiction writer, particularly, when I read them, the roots of their philosophy is coming from the Bhagavad Gita. You name any author, even The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, or you name any author, the roots of those philosophies are coming from Bhagavad Gita. I'll tell you the exact sloka from where it is coming. So I was getting feedback from the readers from Kolkata Book Fair, and some 50 odd people have already read my book, and they have come back to Satadal with various feedbacks and reactions, not in writing, but informally, verbally. So I gauge that what I am trying to write, I have to go one step beyond to meet with the expectation of the readers. So I took a strategic pause. I'm gathering those inputs, what the readers are telling, what do they want? What do they want to read? What do they look for in a book? So I'm trying to incorporate that into my next book. So this is the reason that book is getting delayed. It was earlier planned that it should come out somewhere in April, around this time, around this week, but it is delayed a bit because I want to incorporate all those feedback that I'm getting from my readers.
Yes.
You can take it further. Yeah.
Coming back to Dr. Lavanya's query, I would suggest that you wait for some time because your book has not reached the proper corner it should. Now is the time when we are diving indoors, not going for outdoor fairs. We'll be subjective in our in the presentation of various books. So your books are mainly for people who are doing counseling, all those kind of things. People who are more aware about mental problems and who are involved with therapies and all those kind of things. So we are going to get into that phase in the next phase when we go in the internal book fair. So that time you'll get a lot of questions being posed to you, a lot of people asking you questions, a lot of people writing to you. So you'll get a major audience over there. That is the time I think you should select for making your audiobook when you get enough people asking for you. So of course I'll keep you informed, and the time will be pretty soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. That was a very comprehensive answer.
Yeah, thank you. So if anybody else wishes to speak or ask a question, please raise hand. Else we will go on with the summarization of today's meeting. Anybody? Raise hands.
I have not a question and an answer.
Yeah. You want to ask the question and answer it yourself, right?
No, I'm answering it. People have to frame the question.
Okay.
So see, in the book fair, like there are many questions raised regarding book fairs, like how do we go about it? Next time, of course, other cities, now Kochi is doing a book fair. Other cities will also be interacted with, and hopefully people from Mumbai, people from Delhi, people from other cities of India will take up the challenge. So my learning, a few learnings are there which I'd like to share. For each of our books, whether it is fiction, non-fiction, poetry, or whatever, academics, we have got 4 types of readers that generally visit our stall. One is a serious reader. Now, I did a lot of jabbering to non-serious readers during the Newtown Book Fair. Later on, I realized that I have wasted my energy and time. I have to recognize who is a serious reader. A serious reader is one who comes and scans the total book space, total shelf, and then picks up a book and then leaves through it, sees the blurb, and then asks you a question in that context. Serious reader does not look at the price first. Book palat ke price dekh liya, $2.99, rakh liya. No, the person will go through your book, read the blurb, ask you questions, last he'll go for the price. That is a serious reader. And question like, if this book is about Bhagavad Gita, learnings from Bhagavad Gita, why is it this short? I'm talking about seeds of advice. Then my answer would be, it is not only Bhagavad Gita. It is the general lessons of life. The essence has been taken from Bhagavad Gita. Of course, Bhagavad Gita is a very voluminous book. But there are certain pertinent areas which sort of gives you the knowledge to rule over your vices. That has been projected in the book. You can see the chakra in the cover page and understand that it is about overcoming your vices. And that essence has been taken from Bhagavad Gita. Apart from that, there are many other things. There's a poem from a Singaporean poet, which is of course not part of Bhagavad Gita, but it goes very well with the content. So these are the things. And then I flipped through the book and shown the person the poem, or maybe one person I had read out the poem. Then the person gets interested and then he goes for the price. Acha, itna paisa, how much discount will I get? Then I say, okay, 10%, 15%, 12%, whatever. Then the books get sold. If a serious reader enters your stall and gets the right kind of answer, you end up making a sale. Then there is a casual reader who reads, chalo, airport mein chala gaya, pad liya, train mein, oh, pad lenge. That kind of I want to sleep, that's why I read. There are many people who read for sleeping. No, they unko pade bina neend nahi aata. They read as if it is a sedative. So these guys, are casual. They don't know what they'll look at the prices. Acha, 100 rupees. Can you give it to me in 50? Wo zyada ho gaya. 200 rupees. Can you give it to me in 100? This is 250 rupees. Can you give it to me in 150? That kind of a reader who bargains on the price is a casual reader. So there whatever explanation you give, at the end of the day, he will say 150 mein de do na boss. Give it to me in 150. That is a casual reader where you should not come down. Sir, aapko lena hai to lijiye, otherwise, there is e-books. If you start giving 150, that book, 250 ka book in 150, a line of people will come, will start by, Arey, usko diya, mere ko kyun nahi? Then at the end of the day, you'll keep on selling the books at loss. So you have to recognize the casual readers. Casual readers, you have to be very strict with the pricing. Third is amblers. There are amblers who will come to just see, khane ke liye aaya. What they have come to the book fair for, they have come to eat. Just time pass, they'll come and say this, that, do you have Robin Sharma? What shit here? I'm telling you, we are Indian authors. We are self-published. Is Robin Sharma a self-published author? So you waste your time by answering their question. They're amblers. They'll not buy any book. They'll just waste your time. So I have recognized those amblers very well. So I used to give them a cold shoulder. And the fourth kind of reader is a confused reader. The confused reader, he reads a lot. No wonder he reads a lot. He knows a lot of things, but he doesn't know what he likes. He will take Dr. Lavanya's book. He will take Devi Prasad Rakshit's book. He will take BPC's book. He will take Pratyusha's book. 4 books he'll bring. Sir, which one should I buy? Arey, kharidne wale tum ho. You are going to pay. What am I going to do? So then I'll say, see, this book is this book is this book is this, this is this. What would you like to read? So you tell me which is best. How can I compare between a fiction and non-fiction? Or a poetry? How can I compare a book that is having total mythology like Princess Recall and a book like Devi Prasad Rakshit's, how to become a sales superstar? Can you compare? Can anybody? No, now this person tells me which is better. This person is a confused reader. Then you have to tell him, sir, you take both. You take both. Of course, wo 6-7 book leke aega to problem hai. You give him an option of 2, especially if it is a fiction and non-fiction. Give him both or her both and tell her or him that you read both. You compare yourself, and whatever comparison you do, you tell me. I'll tell you what your readership is all about, how good reader you are. Usko fula dene ka, and he'll end up buying both your books. So your potential buyers are the confused readers and the serious readers. The other 2 readers are time pass people. So be very aware of them. So this is my learning that I wanted to share. And secondly, taking another minute from Vikram, why do we have fairs? We were having this online BookBub, AMS, everything, and our books are in Kindle, or maybe many people having their books in Kobo, Lulu, Nook, Barnes & Noble. Why do we go for a book fair, physical book fair? Now, let me tell you, an industry runs through this, and this is a very profitable industry. How? Now, what we are doing, our main aim is not selling Ikka Dukka book. Today, I sell Vikramji's 2 books, or Devi Prasad's 1 book, or Subhash Sharmaji's 2 books. How much revenue are you gathering? Does it serve the purpose? No. Our thing is, our target is much larger. Like what we are doing, a register with the register. We have got 4 registers where we are taking the taking the audience numbers, the names, the phone numbers, the email IDs of the people who are looking through our books. Maybe your book might be having 20, 30 people whose email ID has been captured. Now, through various other events, we'll try to make it 100 or 150. Once that is done, once you reach that magical figure of 100 or 150, we will have your books done in offset printing. Now, all of us have done our books in digital printing. The cost of our books will be, if it is a 200-page book, it will be somewhere around 170, 160, 150 or something like that. If you go for offset, the same book will be costing you 40, 50, 60, something like that. If you bargain well, you can get within 35 also. 35 rupees per book. But again, you have to have that volume, at least 100 or 150, or maybe 200. There, your book price is 35. Put some additional cost of logistics, make it 50. Your book price is 50. Now in MRP, in the MRP in Amazon, it is 299 or maybe 399, 350, 325, whatever. But your actual costing of the book is 50. Now you put a profit margin to it. Okay. Say you put your cost price as 120. Now you go to somebody. There are a lot of somebodies in Calcutta, elsewhere also. You go to that somebody and say, see, you are a good friend of mine. If you buy books in bulk from me, you see in Amazon, 299. But since you are a good friend of mine, I'm ready to give it to you in 200 or say 220 to you, and don't tell anybody about it. This is the punchline. When you say, don't tell this to anybody, that fellow invariably will go and tell 100 people. He will, next time he'll go and tell somebody that, you know, Vikram Khaitan is a very good friend. He has never seen Vikram Khaitan. He has never heard about him. Vikram Khaitan is a very good friend of mine. His book in Amazon is 299. He is giving me in 250. Okay, so I give it to you in 260. Chalo, 10 rupees. I'll give it to you in 260. But you have to give me 30 sales. Then only posai. Now this fellow will look for 30 sales. Now he will approach somebody. He'll say, now he will put the price at 285 or 280. Something like that. In the middle, everybody is making money. 10 rupees, 15 rupees, 20 rupees. Everybody is making money. And the books are getting sold in bulk. And look at your cost. Your cost is 120 vis-a-vis 299. The MRP. Now, the only drawback is you will not see any sales in Amazon or any platform. These are offline sales. So you might not become, you know, Amazon #1 ribbon holder, but at the time you'll be making money. The whole system of College Street works upon that. People have become millionaires by doing that. People are having, you know, several buildings in Devi Prasad Rakshit, BPC, they know. They're having Ananda publishers. They started like this only. They made their own books, and then they told people whom we call middlemen that, you know, you're my best friend. Everybody is their best friend. So you're my best friend. Don't tell to people. You know, that 100 rupee book, they sell it to that person at 150. And that fellow sells somebody at 180. That cycle happens. Once that cycle starts happening, you'll be seeing a lot of money, which we otherwise we seldom see except Vikram. So we'll see a lot of money when this cycle happens, and we have started pushing the cycle. The registers are fast filling up, and very soon everybody will have, at least from your side also you try. We'll try to generate at least 100 to 150 audience for your book. Ye ikka dukka book sell karna, this is not our motive. Our motive for the fair is to sell books in bulk, and that will go for offset only when we have the audience. Otherwise, offset mein print karke ghar mein rakhna nahi hai books. We have to sell our books in volume, And that we'll do when we have the audience. And we have started gathering the audience. And very soon, everybody will have 100, 150 audiences for you so that you can go for offset. You can sell your books at cheaper prices and earn money in the process. And all the other people will also earn their money. Now, there is, before Lavanya Madam, you ask your question, I will say, Meri Dil Ki Baat, Man Ki Baat, not Modi's Man Ki Baat, Meri Man Ki Baat. My Man Ki Baat is, what does Satadal Lahiri gain from here? I wanted somebody to ask that question. I'll ask that question to me. What does Satadal Lahiri gain from here? See, what I gain from here is more than what you people are gaining. What I am gaining from here is I am getting an iconic status in Kolkata. When I tell people, buy this book, people will buy that book. I want that to happen to me because my mentor, one of my other mentors, there are several mentors of mine. Vikram Khaitan is one of the mentors. There's another mentor here in Kolkata called Ashish Mukherjee. Now, Ashish Mukherjee, if you tell somebody, if he goes to a school and says, I have read this book, that's it. Kharido nahi kharido, tumhare marzi. I have read this book and it is good. Next day, 100 buys will be there, at least. So my aspiration is to become another Ashish Mukherjee in Kolkata. So I am getting that status slowly through you people. So I should thank you rather than you people thank me. So over to Vikram.
So this is the great truth revealed, that we have been grilling and cornering him and questioning him. As a good Samaritan, he has done a lot, no doubt.
Exactly. Now I understood the secret.
Yeah, so this is the truth revealed, and this was the.
Dada, I thought you will be standing for the mayor for Newtown, but it's good that you told me that.
No, please don't reveal all the plans right now. We'll have another time for that. Okay, SDK, please don't reveal everything today.
Dr. Lavanya probably has some question.
Yeah, Dr. Lavanya, you have another question.
It just went off my mind.
Oh, it went off your mind. Okay, you can come back.
Okay, you can WhatsApp it into the group. You can WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Okay, now there is one more thing I would like to talk about is that there is going to be an event in Meerut, and some of us have signed up for that. And well, I just checked out one-on-one with a few people, and some people responded positively and some did not. So I'm still getting some, queries from some of the authors whether they can still join. So I was doubtful because the flyers had already gone out, and so I checked with the organizer and I requested, can you accommodate 1 or 2 people more? So he said, okay, if you confirm by tomorrow, maybe I can, but not later than that. So if anybody is interested, please personally message me by tomorrow, so that I can give you a reference to that organizer, and then you and the organizer can talk it out yourselves.
Vikramji, right? Lavanya Madam has already confirmed that she wants to participate.
All right, so I'll connect you with that organizer and have him to call you up, right?
Are there any charges? Are there any charges for that?
Yeah, there are charges. 12,000 rupees. It's a 2-day event. On the first day, there are some, there is an actress from the television world, who will be giving away the awards and citations. And the second day, on the first day, there are 100 people. There is networking lunch. It's laid out in a hotel. So there's networking lunch, and there is like say 8 to 10 authors are going on the stage and showing their books and giving it to prominent personalities there. And the second day is a author signing event, like you sit with, say, 50 or 100 copies of your book, and those people will move around and they will come and see. People from outside will also be coming in, apart from those 100. So they may request you for an author signed copy, and you can just outright cash sale your book over there. That again depends on how your book is being received. So this is a 2-day event, and the overnight stay cost and the travel cost is on our own. Okay, so this event cost is only for their in hotel arrangements. Right? I hope I'm clear on that. And if you have any further queries, you can ask the organizer. I'll connect the organizer with you directly. Okay. So with this, yeah, you have a question. I'll just come back. Right.
Yeah. So, the thing is, I remembered it once more. It had gone off my mind. Now I remembered it. So the thing is, I was just asking you and Satadal ji, sir, that, regarding the audiobooks, right? And you said, see how your books sell on other formats and then decide about audiobooks. So the thing is, my books are not selling at all if I look at the statistics and charts and all that. So why aren't my books selling? I know these are very niche books. What should I do to make them sell like the others?
Yeah, so I'll take that question. Actually,
allow me, please. Yeah. See, the few things that you can do outright is, it is a cover that sells. First of all, so you can rework on your book title, you can rework on your subtitle, you can rework your cover image. Right now, it is, I think it is bearing your picture, which shows like as if you are some coach or a trainer who So right now it is appearing as if you are a coach or a trainer who's branding yourself through that book. So if it is a non-fiction book for people to read and learn something from, try to rework on the cover. Okay, that's the biggest thing. Of course, once you've done that, you have to unpublish the old book and then republish your second book. The content can be the same, but if this is it, because the first thing that is visible to people is what is in it for me, and then they come back to you with your comments or whatever.
You mean to say that I should not put my picture on the cover? We should have
unless it is adding value. Unless it is adding value. A Shiv Khera doing that, I can understand. Or Ravin Sharma doing that, I can understand. People want to, read specifically from that particular author. But are you already into that field where you are known by your face? If not, avoid it.
Yeah, in my field of mental health, I'm known all over the world.
All right.
But
so why aren't they buying?
No, because only specific kinds of people will come and buy. If they're having a problem, or if they're a caregiver, or if they're a counselor, those types.
Are they buying?
Those of them who've seen it are buying.
So how do you make it seen? Maybe you can send out an email to them, mass email, with an introduction about your book, about the image, about what it can do to them. If you have a database like that.
Yeah.
You can try that.
Another thing that I'd like to add on is, like Lavanya madam, you did not have any launch. For these niche books, a launch is very much required, because you have to reach out to people. Jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai, jo bikta hai wo aur zyada dikhta hai. So this is a line from Sombat Lapur. See, I'm a great fan of Sombat. Anyway, the thing is, like Vikram, the thing is that once you have a physical or a virtual launch, you can share it amongst all the people talking about your book, you talking about your book. You can go to Sip and Talk with Vikram, and you can see the kind of launch that Vikramji had for Seeds of Advice. Now, the people out there were from various fields, nothing to do with Seeds of Advice.
What?
There were people from various fields who had little to do with the Seeds of Advice. Okay, they were more adept in advising people rather than receiving advice themselves. So if you have that kind of visibility with people of various walks, and let me tell you, everybody has got a mental problem. They don't want to say, our society holds us back from saying that I've got a mental problem, I've got this problem. So people will only, they will sort of recognize this book, or they will come to know about this book if you have a proper launch. If you talk about the book, people talk about the book. So I would request you to go about having a launch as soon as possible, so that to make the book visible more to people. Let people resonate with your thought.
Yeah. And the thing is, if I do a launch in Meerut and also a launch in IIT Kharagpur and 2 more places, will that facilitate it?
See, Meerut will give you a big visibility, because the press people are there. There are other authors. There are some international people out there also, magazine people. So the word coming out in print will give a big visibility. IIT Kharagpur, of course, and this is a niche crowd, and there will be a lot of questions asked, because most of the IIT Kharagpur people are all, what do you call it? All crackpots. Me too. Most of the people are crackpots. They'll ask questions. They'll seek answers. So there also a good amount of visibility can be had. So that visibility push niche books. Like J.D. Singh sir, I'll give you an example. J.D. Singh sir has written about hydroponics. How many people know about hydroponics? I did not know. It is growing of plants without soil.
Yeah.
So now what he is doing is very cleverly launching his book in IIT Kharagpur and XLRI Jamshedpur. So what happens? He gets that niche crowd. So he's ready to wait for that, and he's going to do that instead of just plainly doing BookBub and all those things. And he's planning to do that. So I would suggest that there is a couple of questions also. Rupal Mohta is there.
Pardon me, sir. Pardon me. You would suggest?
I would suggest that you have a launch. Either in Meerut, of course, you said you are ready for that. And it is going to be a great launch pad, let me assure you that, in Meerut.
Yeah.
And again, IIT, of course, you know that IIT always attracts niche crowd and all crackpots.
It does.
And you deal with crackpots, so you have to deal with them further. Rupal Mohta, please.
Sir, what I wanted to understand, now I'm a children's book author. So I feel how can I get to schools which can take my books on board, either as an additional read or it can be prescribed as part of the academic matter in school? Because I think then that gives a very big scope for me. So you think, if you could help me out with this, if you have any.
I'll share with you one particular example in Darjeeling. I was talking to Vikramji. See, every fair has got its uniqueness. Darjeeling, Kalimpong, etc. had its uniqueness. I was not ready for that. Very few people come to the fair. Most of the people come to the fair to steal. Your purse or your mobile, they come to steal. Most of the people, they come and they see the stores, what kind of book you have, take your number and call you. Come to this place with some good books. We have got a small group we want to discuss. So we had a group of, we went to the guild. Most of the time I was traveling, going to people with some assortment of books. I was very few times I was there in the stall. So the stall was managed by 2 other guys, Sukanto and Mohan Nair. So I was traveling to them because they called me. And incidentally, I visited St. Paul's Darjeeling, which is one of the most famous schools in that area. It's a Jesuit school. So there the principal had come, I think on the opening day itself, and they had taken my number. And they said that, in our auditorium, you have got to explain what kind of books you have. Now, I cannot explain them about, spirituality or something that is beyond them. So I have to, hit the nail on the head and talk about the books that are more relevant to them. The books that were most relevant to them were your books and the books of Elsie, Lagnajita Chatterjee. And of course, Vikram Khaitan's books is for every age. And then there is a book from Nupur Dhingra, Oh Girl, You Are Precious. There was a book from Nirja Bandi, Bitter Sweetness, for children who are a little big. So that kind of books I took with me. And then the teacher asked, this is the criteria of how it happens, is that you have to put a brief about the book, talk about the book, give some visibility to the principal or the librarian so that he or she might, attract students and parents. Of course, it comes through the parents. What are the values in the book? What will the child learn from the book? What will the child gather and improve by reading the book? So this way, once we send it to various schools, a small write-up about the book, instead of sending the book to let it rot in a corner, we have to first send in the message of the book, essence of the book, and then they will come directly to you. So the schools in Kolkata, which I am targeting, are similar to St. Paul's now. My thought was going to DAV and all those places. Now I'm targeting Vikramji will be knowing La Martiniers Girls and Boys, then St. Stephen's, then a few Jesuit schools, especially Don Bosco, St. Xavier. So these people, these students, they are more prompt in reading English books. And they understand, okay, once we send them the feelers, they understand these books. And then they will go for it. Vikram Khaitan's book is for every age. Like the child can also read, the father can also read, the mother, the grandmother can also read. So that is one of the books that can be sent across to any library or any school. Your books are there, of course, Elsie's books are there. And there are some books, specifically Suresh Govind. His book, I liked his book. I don't know about other people. I liked his book very much. Vijaya Lakshmi Madam, her book, and Pratyusha, and one particular book of Krish Rao, the first book, and of course the book of Nitya Bandi. Where is Nitya Bandi? She's missing. So anyway, so these are the books, Dipti Agarwal also. So these are the books that will definitely find value with the children of Kolkata within a matter of, say, half a month or 20 days, 25 days, whatever. So what I am doing, I'm trying to do smart work now. No hard work, bojhar jeke jane ka. So what I am doing is, I'm making a gist of all the books. I'm sending it to the head librarian, then getting the critic to call him or her. Okay, I've read this book. That's it. Now the person will take the action. If your children are not reading this book, they are missing something. That is the message. So I'll tell you about my first book. 1 minute or lete hain, Vikram. I'll tell you about my first book. My first book, got published by Penguin. That time I did not know about this self-publishing and all that stuff. So I wrote that book and I sent it to Penguin UK, and they did not reply at all. Then one day I got a little bit frustrated, so I called up this lady, and she was the chief editor or something. Her phone number and all that was there. So I called her. There was no WhatsApp call, so I had to make a ISD call. That, madam, I had sent my book, 1 year back. You have not yet published my book. She said, which book and all that? We don't publish, our rejection rate is 98%. Probably your book is rejected. I felt very crestfallen. And I came back and I thought about it. Arey, itna mehnat se likha hai, aise reject kar diya. Then I did not call after that. Then I was thinking what to do. Like, I keep on writing, let me keep on writing articles instead of going for the books. People are not taking my books. That time I did not know there are so many vanity publishers. There are so many, I don't know if self-publishing was there or not in 2012. So then after some time, I again got frustrated. I again called that lady and she gave me the same answer. So I said that, why don't you send me this in written and send me back my manuscript, saying rejected. She said that we don't do that. I said, you have to do that. I need a reply. So little bit argument happened. She cut my phone. Then after, say, another 6 months, somebody else, some other lady called me up and said that we are going ahead with publishing now. And I said, madam, somebody senior to you said that she has rejected my book. And you are saying that you are publishing my book. I'm confused. She said that we liked your arrogance. I said, sorry, madam, it was not arrogance, it was ignorance. I did not know Penguin is this big. So she said, for me, Tata Steel was the biggest company in the world. And after I went through the website and saw Penguin is so big, it's much bigger than Tata Steel. I said, my God, kisse lad raha hu main. Then she said, no, we are publishing a book. During that time, the learning that happened, the book got finally published in 2014. It is there in Amazon. Okay. The learnings were very different from the kind of learnings that we got generally about books. The first, when the book got published, the first advertisement was from, I did not do any advertisements, from Penguin. Buy this book if you have the IQ to read it. I said, what? what the hell is she writing? You know, people will storm me. People will say, do we not have, I asked her. Then she said, you know, this is the way of attracting. People have got big egos. People will respond to this more than anything positive. And immediately I got, within 2 days, I got some 350 books sold. So now what happens is, for your books, coming back to the point, or Elsie's book for that matter, or any other books that goes into the library of the schools, the critic will say, I have read this book, I have liked this book, you are missing something. That's it. Uske baad you see the sales, you see the action. So I'm waiting for these letters to go through. I'll write those letters, bada pyar se likhunga, and then I'll send to some of the Jesuit schools in Calcutta. And then I'll ask my mentor, who is a big critic in the Calcutta circles, is hated for being that, making the calls. And let me take another minute. मैं पैसा दे दूंगा विक्रम sir, about Ashish Mukherjee. Now this guy, I will suggest everybody to have your books rated by Ashish Mukherjee. I don't know till now how Vikram Khaitan has got 9.4 upon 10. ये एक अजूबा है. There is a writer in Kolkata who has written about Saurav Ganguly, and he's acclaimed all over. Supratik Sarkar, his name is. उसको 7 दिया था, 7. And every time I write a good book, I don't get above 8. And Vikram Khaitan from somewhere, Sri Kalahasti, has got 9.4 from this critic, who has given that film, what is the name? Hum Aapke Hai Kaun, 0.5 upon 10. And there was a lot of fight in Kolkata because of that. And this critic, I would request everybody, and of course I'll get him aligned also, to get your books rated by this guy. If he gives a rating above 5, you have made your mark in Calcutta, let me tell you.
So how to get him? The number, mail, ID?
Sir, मैं उसके घर में जाके आपसे फोन में बात करा दूंगा.
अच्छा, just by the way, can you tell us what is the methodology? How do they evaluate? What is the method? I mean, is it content, grammar, all
Sir,
this?
there are some 32 odd points, but there are 10 basic points. 32 odd points मेरे को भी नहीं समझ में आया. बहुत कुछ है जो उनका लिंगो में होता है. But the 10 points that are there, one is the cover. Cover is very important, as Vikramji rightly said. He was telling that to Dr. Lavanya. Your cover has to depict what you want to say in your book. By one look at your cover, people might understand. Like Vikramji, can you do a favor to us? You know, जिसमें जो clipping में Ashish Mukherjee has talked about your book, you know, the 10 points. Can you kindly, in that link, can you kindly paste it in the group so that people might know that what are the 10 biggest points in which the critic rates a book? Second is the content.
Sure, I will do that. And those who are holding a copy of my book can also see, I have listed it, you know, along with Ashish Mukherjee's rating, that how he has rated this. So you can see that, and I will post that part of the video also.
Where can I find it, sir? Vikramji, where can I find?
I will post that video in the group. Mr. Sareen.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sareen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will post that video in the group, and also for anybody who's got the paperback version of my book in hand, you can see in the first few pages, the rating methodology has been explained.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Lavanya.
Yeah, I had one small doubt. I'll tell you very honestly why I came up with a cover like that. The thing is, I was told, not by Clever Fox, but before that by Notion Press, that if the book that I publish is read by somebody, and somewhere down the first chapter is okay, and the Holiday Inn book, the Holiday Inn chapter is also okay. It's very capturing chapter. But then, you know, when they go to the third chapter of global mental health and local mental health, they realize it's a book about schizophrenia, and they'll drop the book and go away. But that was a wrong assessment, actually. And she said, Notion Press told me that you give a heading and a subheading which pertains to the word schizophrenia in the title. Okay, so I did that. But then it put off people because some people would say, who's interested in schizophrenia, and walk away. That is what has happened. So then she also said, you put your picture, your photo on the cover. At that point in time, I put one of my best pictures. I thought people would look at a pretty picture and then buy the book. It didn't happen. So, or maybe they would look at the picture and say, is this the woman who conquered schizophrenia and became a doctor? Okay, we want to know how this happens. But that did not happen. I was wondering what went wrong.
Okay, Dr. Lavanya, to be more specific in my advice on this, surf the Amazon for a book called Life is As You Make It. She's also an author
Preeti
from
Shenoy. Preeti Shenoy.
She's
I
also
have it in my library.
yes, she's also from Bangalore. And you see, means I bought that book reading that life is what you make it. I thought there will be some point of some transformational advice, but it turned out to be some, quasi-fictional and, a mix of fiction and biography or something like that. And basically she was talking about bipolar disease. She was talking about bipolar disease, but nowhere in the introduction or on the title or subtitle, she mentioned bipolar disease. And I read that book when Preeti Shenoy had written her first book. Okay, that was perhaps her first book. And later on, she has become a known author gradually, and you all will be also in that league. But you see that cover for reference. And how does it resonate with your concept? Are you giving away too much of a micro niche? How many people are there who are schizophrenic and they want to turn around to become a doctor or anything else? So you are actually micro niching it too much, way too much. Okay, so look into that and maybe that'll answer your question.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for that tip.
So Satadal, now we can have the concluding remarks from you. We are already 1.5 hours into this, and on a Sunday evening, people will have
nothing much to conclude about. Only thing is that I've said everything. We are still having programs, indoor programs, and everybody please stay connected. We are a great community. And secondly, I'd like to thank especially two people out here. Thank you to everybody, of course. Two people I'd like to mention who have worked behind the scenes. One is, of course, Vikram Khaitan. He has so craftily, so beautifully made that Excel file. And second one is SD Kar. Is he there?
I think he has gone. Yeah, SD has gone.
SD Kar has always been encouraging me, sitting in Odisha, saying that Dada do this, Dada do that, Dada help us like this, like that. And he has also sent some people to the stalls, his known people in Kolkata. So thank you, SD. I think he'll be able to hear the recording wherein I'm thanking him. I'm thanking you, SD Kar, for helping out that way. Lagnajita Chatterjee, of course, because some of our people came from various corners of West Bengal. And that small kid, I'll always remember, like he made a great halla in that stall to buy all the books of Lagnajita Chatterjee. Finally, his father could convince him to take one. So these are the memories that will always stay. And then, of course, thank you to everybody. And we are, and one appeal lastly, that everybody who are in the group, who are participating in this discussion or not, who are there in that WhatsApp group, please buy each other's book, read it, review it, and learn from it. All the books, most of the books I've read from the authors in the community, I think 60 odd people are there, more than that probably. So I have most of the books I've read, only a few books I might not have read. And most of the books I've enjoyed. And especially, if some cantankerous critic from Kolkata gives a rating of 9.4 to one of our authors, it's a great matter of pride to all of us. And everybody can see that there have been books sold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, jitna bhi hua, sell hua hai. Unknown authors. People don't know our names. People don't know who we are, where we are coming from, what we are writing, what we are doing. We are not full-time authors, but people are buying, spending their hard-earned money behind our books, reading it, coming back. We have got return visitors to our stall. That's one of the biggest victories. So all of you rock. All of you have done wonderful things. You have written wonderful books. Keep on writing that, and please read each other's books. It will be enriching. I can guarantee you that. So most of the people have done that. So please read on, and people who read fiction, Nupur Dhingra, Pratyusha Guha, then very shortly SD is going to come out with another book, and I and Vikramji are also part of that. Read Lagnajita Chatterjee, read Krupal Mota. People who are into non-fiction, who read non-fiction, who like non-fiction, please read Sanjeev Sareen, please read Subhash Sharma, Vikram Khaitan, of course, Dr. Lavanya, Deepthi Agarwal, and a wonderful book written by Chris Rao. And then there are two people who have written some wonderful books that are not spoken about. One is Dr. Vijaya Lakshmi Alooni. Now she is one of the most famous doctors in Hyderabad. And she has written some very beautiful books, The War and the Battlefield. Please get your hands to that. Devi Prasad Rakshit also keeps on writing books, short books, thin books, very practical books. And of course, Sucheta ji has written something about parenting that we probably have not read anywhere. So please buy each other's books. It will be enriching. Vikaspal Chaudhary has got a trilogy. Read these 3 books. It's a great journey, I tell you. From the mountains to the sea to everywhere, you will feel yourself refreshed. So my guarantee is read each other's book. It will be enriching much better than the other commercial books that go around. And don't read Chetan Bhagat. Not to be recorded. Recording यहाँ पे cut करना. And better read, our authors. Please encourage our authors. We are for, मेरा घर में यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है in the wall that all our authors are poised to be great authors in the coming days. It is written in my wall. And let me tell you, all the books that you have sent to me, or sending to me, or you have sent to me earlier, I treat them as my children. All books are precious to me. And I will make it sure that at least in Kolkata, you shine, you rise, and you become successful. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much for everyone's participation and the brilliant questions that you've come up with and your suggestions. And thank you, Satadal, for fielding these questions so well. We cornered you hard for 1.5 hours, and you have untiringly answered everything so beautifully. And there are great plans ahead. We will be coming back and revealing one thing at a time. So stay connected, stay into the game. Do not feel that there is no ROI. I sold only. I mean, when SD you brilliantly brought out those analysis of, the rankings, I sort of disagreed with that in concept, because why give rankings like that? Why, just for sake of numbers? The numbers don't matter at all. Even if you have sold, if a customer has come to the stall, looked at your book and liked it and picked it, your job is done. I mean, I have sent only 3 copies of my books to Kochi. I could have sent 50, but I thought if in that territory, if 3 people pick my book, it will be a great achievement for me, because that's a very vernacular driven market. So it is too early to count the fruits. We are in the process of building a path for us. We are in the process of building the inroads. How many authors around you are into the National Library? How many around you are into the BCCL? You are. Isn't that a proud moment for you? I congratulate you all for landing up into those kind of circles. Satadal is getting invites from prominent people around. You are getting invited by the mayor of the city. It's not a small thing. And this is what, the vision he and I shared at the outset. He said the involvement is huge, not only in terms of money. Okay, money we can all share, but in terms of the involvement, it's going to be huge. So I encouraged him that I told him, like, you see, what is it that you are going to drive yourself into? And now he's actually seeing that happen. With every interaction, people are coming back to him. come to my place, come to my organization, give us a talk. So this is what is going to make him a literary genius among us in a literary capital of the country. So let us all stay bonded as a family and have our presence at every given opportunity. And on that note, I thank you and request you to conclude this event for now. Namaste.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Namaskar. Thank you.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody. Thank you, sir.
Signing off.